It's time for Wise Money with Korhorn Financial Group with certified financial planners Kevin Korhorn, Mike Bernard, and Josh Gregory.
Welcome to another episode of the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group, where every week we're helping you take your next wise step in your financial life. Thanks for being here, friends. My name is Mike Bernard. I am your host. I'm also one of the certified financial planners on the program. With me in the KFG studios, my business partner and fellow CFP, Kevin Korhorn. Between us, Alysia Boehner.
Certainly a rose between two thorns.
There you go.
It continues to be a hard market in insurance, and it's making it harder for people to get new homeowners insurance coverage, and even harder to ensure that your existing homeowner insurance policy gets renewed. So we have the best in the business, Alysia Boehner, joining us today to discuss what you can do to position yourself with insurance underwriters to get your insurance needs covered.
It's hard. But we're helping you, and yeah, Alysia is fantastic. It's always a great show when she's on. She's got a lot of wisdom to share, and she's going to help us with this challenging predicament. We're all in. So if you have a question for the program, need help, or just, need to reach out, we're here for you. Call or text us, 574-222-2000. That's 574-222-2000. Online, you can find us wisemoneyshow.com. So you can reach out to us that way. You can learn more about the show, learn more about the firm, learn more about Alysia. There you go. Or wherever you're at on social media, we are there as well. Just search the Wise Money Show. I want to thank Auto Owners Insurance for sponsoring the content of today's program, but know that we are going to be talking about the insurance challenges, right? So, Alysia, thanks for joining.
Hey,
Appreciate
thanks for having me again.
Okay, so we've got, we're putting you in the hot seat, okay, which is between me and Kevin, okay? But just before we get into it, this overall condition, the overall state, where are we at with home and auto insurance? Things getting better? Things staying the same? Things getting worse?
I feel like I'm the broken record of bad news. I'm bringing it to you every time I come, which is not seeing the improvement we want quite yet in the insurance market. We're still calling it a hard market.
Yeah. And I guess, what's your sense? We're trying to help, and everyone is struggling with this because for the issues we're going to get into. But I'm saying it's going to take a couple of years for this to burn off. Is that, or are you? Your eyes just got really big, really big as I said that. Are you hoping it's shorter than that?
I really do hope it's shorter than that.
Yeah.
I think that we are seeing some marginal improvement. I know our carriers that we've spoken with, they did post some profit for the first quarter, so that's what we want to see. But at the same time, we've had some natural disasters already hit the Midwest that they're worried about second quarter results. So it's an up and down everyday battle that we're just looking at quarter by quarter.
So what is a hard market, Alysia?
Yeah, so I actually pulled a full definition, and it is exactly what I would have expected it to say. So they said it's an upswing in the insurance market cycle when premiums, which is what you pay, right, how much you pay for your insurance, where the premiums are going up, your coverage is restricted, and capacity for most types of insurance decreases. So basically what we're saying in layman's terms is your costs are going up for insurance, and insurance companies don't want more business. They're trying to shrink the business they are writing.
Isn't that counterintuitive, though? Like, if you don't understand the mechanics underneath, and as a consumer, I don't want insurance companies to be profitable. I don't want my insurance rates to go up. I just want it easy for me and give me coverage and cover my claims when I have them. But it all sort of, like, it's economics. It all sort of works together. If the insurance company has more claims that they're filing, they have to increase their rates in order to afford and cover those claims. And if they do have more claims, they actually, don't want more consumers, more customers, right? Because that increases their risk.
Yeah, they want more of the right customers and they want less of the wrong customers. But the problem is in our industry, people get put into a box, just a sweeping generalization of we're not profitable on auto, or we're not profitable on home, or we're not profitable on commercial property. And so we look at those groups of people and say, okay, we need to tighten up in those areas, tighten our guidelines.
Yeah. And some insurance companies facing this have gone bankrupt, or they've sold, or they've said in huge pockets of the United States, we're not going to offer insurance here anymore.
Yeah, so we definitely had at least one insolvency that impacted our area in 2023. There was a carrier that went under that we saw customers calling saying, hey, we we don't have insurance. We're not going to have an offering for this next year. Our agent's looking, but we're trying to look around. So we've had that hit us.
Who was that?
Max Insurance.
Max.
Mutual Aid Exchange. Yep.
Huh.
So a lot of people in the Goshen area had that carrier.
So the hard market, it really is a pendulum, though, and the pendulum typically swings between a hard market where the insurance companies are very picky and they're raising rates, and when it swings the other way, it's a soft market where they're trying to capture more business. They lower their standards maybe a little bit. They're trying to lower rates, and they're doing things, but it does feel a little bit like the pendulum is stuck on the hard market side, and we're waiting for this swing, but then I keep listening, and I hear those things too. I hear, oh, there was a hailstorm here, there was a tornado here, there was a hurricane there, and so these types of natural disasters keep the hard market hard.
Yeah, and in 2023, we thought we would see some improvement. We had fewer hurricane disasters, so that was good. But we had an increase in the number of thunderstorms, like high claims payout thunderstorms, just ramped way up. And so that has the insurance industry on edge because those bigger disasters, there's fewer of them, but they're more easily predicted than all these pop-up storms we're getting with climate change type factors and things happening. So, that kind of makes insurance companies a little leery and scared.
Okay, let me set the record straight. Probably should have said this at the beginning. So Alysia Boehner, she is an independent insurance agent. So she serves you. She serves you. And now she's been in the industry for a long time, has a ton of wisdom, and can speak sort of at a high level of here's what insurance companies are facing. But she, and this is why we preach to you, anytime we're talking about insurance or talking about the 6 areas of your financial life, you need to be working with an independent insurance agent because they're working for you. They don't represent the insurance company. They represent you and want to make sure that you've got the right coverage for your entire financial life, and that you're using the right companies based on whatever's going on in the market. Hard market, soft market, lots of claims, not many, whatever.
And just a quick explanation. So this is a show about financial planning. Mike and I are financial planners, and we help our clients analyze the 6 areas of financial planning. One of those areas is protection planning, but Mike and I really work on strategy, and Alysia works on execution, fulfillment of the strategy. And I was talking with some clients recently from Pennsylvania, big Michael P. Roth Bernard fans.
That's right.
And they were asking, well, how do you help us with our insurance? Can you review it? So there are some states that we are not licensed in to sell insurance to our clients, but our insurance advisors can review the coverages and help them adjust their policies to make sure that they fit. And I don't remember the last time we went to help someone with their existing coverage where we didn't find amazing gaps or holes or other things, because a lot of times what people really want to do is kind of set it and forget it. Mm-hmm. So I've got it in place. That's it. And meanwhile, your life continues to change. And if you're not changing your coverages to keep up with your changing life, then you're going to have some exposures that you either may or may not know about, but need to be addressed.
Your home and auto insurance, your coverage needs to be in concert, needs to be in synergy, needs to be connected to your entire financial situation. Oftentimes when we think of that coverage, and you guys know my favorite commercials out there are insurance ones. Now I must say, I don't like them as much anymore simply because of how awful the insurance world is right now. But they're hilarious. Just if I can paint with a broad brush.
Is there one that was where they said Mike?
Yes, yes. And so, but you've got insurance companies that have hilarious commercials all about name your price tool and about price. It's almost as if they don't want you to worry about what you're covering. Don't even worry about it. Just get the price right. And especially right now, as costs are going up and it's harder to get insurance, that is even more tempting as a consumer. primary objective is make sure you've got the right coverage.
Yeah, so right now, one of the stats I read said 70% of Americans are shopping their insurance.
Oh, my goodness.
70%. And here's the thing. Those people go online and they try to get it themselves. And when we review insurance, I would say the vast majority of the people we find the worst coverage issues are people who went online and did it themselves.
All right, so we're going to help you with that. What do you do? What can you do in a hard market to make yourself as attractive to insurance companies as possible? We've got that and more coming up on the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for being here. This is the Wise Money Show. What you're watching right now is our weekly 1-hour talk show that airs right here on this channel, 10 a.m. Eastern Time every Saturday morning. Thanks for being here. Also on podcast at the same time at 10 a.m. as well, wherever you listen, and a couple local radio stations where we're located, headquartered in Northern Indiana, Southern Michigan. So that's why the content's broken up the way that it is. Yes, it is a talk show. Get some comments. We'll get to the point. It's a talk show. We're talking. But we've got a lot of other content right here on this channel that airs all throughout the work week, taking one financial concept, applying it directly to your financial life. We've done a lot of content on things that you can do to help navigate this challenging insurance market with some of the content we're going to get into right now. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you're made aware every time we drop new content. If you like the content, we appreciate it. All right. So that was all sort of still kind of wading into the deep waters. Let's get deep here. So probably, certainly all of this segment.
Okay.
I'm assuming you've got a list.
So we're going to go point by point of what can I do personally?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So are we thinking we'll get to questions at the end, or do we think this is going to take 4 segments?
I have no idea.
I do think
we've got a lot of questions laid out even past this.
The meeting that I just had made me realize we need to do a better job of explaining who we are and how we help people.
Yeah.
Because what Alysia's relationship to us is and how we team up to serve clients is, I think, that's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, can you push that mic right up as close as you can? I don't know if you can tell how close Kevin is, but I would get that close.
Well, it's not that I'm that close to the mic, it's that my lips are that big.
I just feel like it's going to be so loud.
No, it's not. That actually
The closer
even
I move the mic, the
sound
quieter
like
I want
a
to
church
talk.
mouse. Talk.
You sound like a mouse.
Use your leadership voice.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. What's a hard insurance market, but more importantly, what can you do to navigate it so that it's not as hard or as challenging for you? We're helping with that right now. This is the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. Thanks for being here. My name is Mike Bernard. With me in the KFG studios, Kevin Korhorn and insurance expert Alysia Boehner. Every episode of the Wise Money Show is on podcast. Wherever you listen, search the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group and rate the program there. We appreciate it. Subscribe as well. All right, Alysia. Here we go. We're getting into the kind of the meat of it. We're in this hard insurance market, meaning it's hard to get insurance if you're moving or if you're buying a new vehicle. Means it's hard to keep insurance. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make sense. Please help us. Hard to keep insurance when you already have it. And it's hard to find new insurance if you're shopping. You left off saying 70% of people are shopping their insurance. Let me say that differently. 100% of people are frustrated with their insurance and only 70% are trying to figure out if there's a better idea out there. But in a hard market, it's hard to even go anywhere else. So you're shopping and it's difficult. So what can you do? What can a consumer do to put themselves in the best position possible in this hard market?
Okay, so let's start with just a concept of underwriting. So insurance companies, they are data-based. They look at statistics, they look at the likelihood of a claim, and when they see red flags that might lead to a claim, they want to reduce the number of clients that they see like that. So when we talk about underwriting factors, there's so many very simple things you can do. Pay your bill. Pay your doggone bill on time. If you're making that payment late, if you let your insurance coverage lapse, meaning you you decide, I can't afford it this month, I'm not going to pay it. Or if you're a business, some people have a seasonal business, and they may say, oh, I don't need it over the winter, so I'm going to let it cancel. Companies do not want to rewrite that business. They're making it harder and harder to get that insurance again once you have let it cancel. So make sure you keep your coverage in force.
Yeah, a little life hack with that. I mean, there are companies that will do a paid in full discount. I mean, if you're using the 3 bank account system and funding your delayed spending account, it'd be great to do a paid in full, because you can get paid in full by paying 6 months at a time or 1 year at a time.
You can on auto. On home, it's usually 1 year, but auto you can 6 months at a time.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And can I get the paid in full discount if I'm escrowing?
No, you cannot.
I got that going for me. So so that means if you have a mortgage, if you choose to escrow when you do your mortgage, you can't get the paid in full discount because the escrow company is paying that premium on your behalf. When you go to do a mortgage, if you say, hey, I don't want to escrow, some companies will allow you to not escrow, some won't. But if you're responsible, typically they will. And so you just say, hey, I'm going to do that. I'm going to pay my taxes myself. I'm going to pay my insurance myself.
And electronic payment too. So some carriers are really pushing the electronic payment. If you can't afford to pay it in full right now, maybe that's okay, but do some sort of auto payment. They don't want to send 5 copies of billing notices and then reinstate you. So that's more costs for them going out the door every month when you aren't paying on time. So that's one big one you can do. We talk about this one nearly every show I'm on, but insurance score, which is credit factors. If the better your credit is, the better that rate is going to be, and carriers look at that favorably. So that's another one.
Can I just geek out for a second? So Kevin reset in the last segment that, the Wise Money Show is a show about comprehensive financial planning. It's not our idea. It's just what you need. In order to make great financial decisions, you've got to look at all 6 areas of your financial life and how they connect. And then you're able to see, oh, this was a bad choice. This is a good choice. This is a great choice. What Alysia just shared, and I know might sound fairly simple for some of you, but in making sure that you have a solid financial foundation, we call it present financial position, so that you have a great system for managing your bills and you can pay them all at once, you will pay less for your insurance. If you have a structure, we call a 3 bank account system, where you can pay your insurance in full, you pay less. That's one. Second, if you've got a strong financial foundation and don't have too much debt or haven't been late on your payments and your credit score has gone down, that influences your insurance score, also making sure that you pay less on your insurance. So she's talking about insurance, but it's pointing right to the habits that you have in the first area of your financial life, your present financial position.
And if we can build on that even more, that delayed spending account, that allows you to be able to absorb more if you have a claim. So that means you can afford a higher deductible. And that is one other way that you can try to protect your insurability is file fewer claims. In particular, on the home side, you may not need to file that loss. You can afford a higher deductible. Do that.
Right. So this idea of filing fewer claims, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But as I like to tell Alysia, most of insurance doesn't make a lot of sense. But because what I oftentimes hear from people is, well, that's what I have insurance for.
That's what I'm paying for.
That's what I'm paying for. And we try to encourage people, again, going back to the 3 bank account system, this is where the 6 areas of financial planning work together. Because if I've got sufficient cash reserves, the question is, what is the bet that I want to make? If I have a low deductible, say I have a $100 deductible, I'm betting that I'm going to have an event. And I would rather bet that I'm not going to have an event. And then I would want to do the proactive things that make sure I reduce the risk of me having an actual event. And then if I make my deductible $1,000 or $2,500 or whatever the number might be, I'm going to the $1,500 loss from the tree where we've got an issue, I'm going to eat that. Mm-hmm. And insurance is not my first dollar of coverage, because the problem is if you have a small loss and you turn it in and you have that claim, that and then you have a couple other, you hit a deer and then someone hits you in the parking lot, all of a sudden you've got 3 claims and the company is saying, we're not going to renew you. And it doesn't, if you've never been non-renewed, it doesn't make sense. And you'd almost think, well, there's no way that an insurance company can say no to me as long as I'm willing to write the check. And they actually can say no to you.
Yeah, they can say no to you, and they will take the opportunity to do so right now if you have multiple claims or you have lots of tickets in your driving history or accidents. And on the home side, just remember, insurance companies, they don't want to be your building maintenance fund, right? Like we get people who say, oh, they're kind of hoping for that windstorm when the roof is 25 years old because they want the insurance company to pay for that roof. But you're still paying for it. You're paying for it in your premium that keeps going up. Use that delayed spending fund to actually have proper maintenance to keep your home in the condition it needs to be.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So what you heard, just to recap here. So make sure that you're paying your bills. So make sure that, and of course, but yeah, if you miss or you forget or you thought it was on auto pay but it wasn't, or you turned it to to paperless statements and all of a sudden you missed. No, stay on top of that. Find a way, and to do one better, find a way to get the paid in full discount. That's one. Second, you had mentioned was file fewer claims.
Tickets, accidents, higher deductibles, file fewer claims if you can afford to do so. Paying on time, make sure you're paying on time. And then home upkeep. If you can just generally keep the outside of your home in a better condition of maintenance, insurance companies are really looking for those red flags right now. So that is a big one you can do to protect your insurability. Keep your home, your trees trimmed back, your shrubs trimmed back, power wash that thing, do all those things.
But what if you have kids in travel sports and you don't have time for any of that stuff?
Then neglect it all until they're out of the house.
Okay. So it turns out travel sports cost a lot more than new bats every year. You also said, keeping your kind of insurance score. Mm-hmm. But your insurance score is sort of this combo of credit score as well as your claim filing history, right?
Yeah, they look at different factors. They look at, and each company weights it differently. So they look at how many debts you have outstanding, whether you're paying on time, how much credit you have available to you. So it is factors that are a lot like a credit score, but they each are able to weight it a little bit differently based on what they care about.
Yeah. Okay, so I would have started. I know you've got more on your list. I would have started with a different one.
Okay.
And I want to share my own personal experience because I actually just had my home and auto and umbrella policies renew, actually just earlier this month. And I want to share the proactive approach that I experienced from our team, and that will lead into what I would say is, bar none, the most important thing that someone needs to do in order to put themselves in the best position. So we've got that and more coming up with Korhorn. Excuse me. That and more coming up. The Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. That was funny.
Say it again.
No.
Okay. Easy for you to say. So here's what I'm wondering. Do the life hack that I really like is pre-trial diversion, because you're talking about tickets. And when you get a ticket, in the past I've had some speeding problems, but when I was in Kansas and they welcomed me by giving me a ticket, I called up because the mistake that people make is as soon as they get the ticket, they pay the ticket. Mm-hmm. Well, once you paid the ticket, you
lost your chance.
The horse is out of the barn. Mm-hmm. So when you shut the gate after the horse is out, it's not going to help anything.
So we can talk about that, right? Because how much else do you have on your list with this?
I hit the main ones on that section.
I mean, the pre-trial diversion doesn't help me with my homeowner's insurance, but I do think
on the auto.
And the thing is, there's a season Mike is getting ready to come into it where you're going to have all kinds of changes with the youthful driver and the good student discount. But we just put a new roof on our house, right? So
did you call your agent?
What do you want me to call her? So So
Great. That's great.
I'm not sure what's wrong with me. So, there's a lot of things going on at the Korhorn household, and it's way easier to let your life get way out ahead of your insurance maintenance, if you will.
Okay. So you tell me, I'll share my story, and then if you have, if you want to hit the pre-trial diversion stuff, great. And then we can get into the underwriting stuff, or the home inspection, sorry.
And
Here we go.
And we say underwriting like everyone knows what underwriting is.
Doesn't make any sense.
So you have to explain what underwriting is.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
Once. Do you say that?
I see London. I see France.
All right. Here we go.
I see insurance underwriting. Okay, let's go. Let's have a little fun with it.
Third segment. When's the last time you had a home inspection from your insurance company and to see whether you're still a good risk and they still want to offer you insurance? When would that happen, and what should you be looking for if you're going to have that? I've got that and more right now. This is the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. Thanks for being here. My name is Mike Bernard. With me in the KFG studios, Kevin Korhorn and insurance expert Alysia Boehner. Every episode of the Wise Money Show, as well as a lot of other content, is on the YouTube channel. Go check it out. Already a couple bloopers today, thanks to yours truly. So go check that out. Go to YouTube, search the Wise Money Show. Subscribe to it there, because we've got a lot of other content in addition to this talk show that you're watching right now. Have Next Wise Step videos all throughout the work week. So check it out. Go to YouTube, search the Wise Money Show, subscribe to it there, and follow us there as well. We appreciate it. All right, so we're talking about in a hard insurance market where it's harder to get coverage if you move or get a new vehicle. Harder to keep coverage, believe it or not, if you already have insurance. Yes, that's the thing. That they might, your insurance company might say, hey, you know what? Your policy is renewing and we're not going to renew it. So you need to go find...
Hard market equals the insurance company's appetite shrinks.
Yep.
They're less interested in writing business, and the business that they are willing to write costs considerably more than you might be used to paying.
So what should you be doing about it? We just shared, 4 or 5 things that you might say, oh, that's simple. I wanted the silver bullet. Well, guys, it's the simple things. It is the little things. Here's what I would put at the top of the list. And I'm gonna state it in my experience. So beginning of June, my homeowners, my auto owners, my umbrella policy came up for renewal. And about a month before the renewal, I didn't ask this. They actually didn't even reach out to me via our internal messaging system here that we use at KFG. I got an email to my personal email with several paragraphs explaining insurance market. I'm just going to summarize. Insurance market's hard. It's a challenging insurance environment. We've proactively reviewed your homeowner's insurance and have some suggestions. And your your auto insurance and have some suggestions. And there were 2 paragraphs under each basically saying, here's why the insurance world is difficult. Here's what's going on in your situation. Here are 2 changes that we're just going to make for you. Reach out if you don't want those changes. One of them was, I shared on the show recently, that I think my homeowner's deductible was still $1,000 going into this hard market. Alicia's shaking her head right now if you can't see her. I think it was simply because I'm the dentist that doesn't clean his teeth. I'm the cobbler's kids with no shoes. I very rarely
barber with a bad haircut.
Yeah, that's right. Rarely do I just slow down long enough to say, hey, will someone just take a look at my financial situation, see where my blind spots are? And yeah, that's one that I hadn't looked at. And then all of a sudden we get in this hard insurance market, and it's like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. And so Alicia's team reached out and said, yeah, we're just going to automatically shift this to $2,500, I believe. And there's also going to be a new wind and hail deductible. I think that was mandatory. But there were a couple other tweaks that they suggested. And then right when I got the insurance, right as I was getting the renewal in the mail, I got another email basically restating what we were doing and saying this is the cost change. And so did I like the cost change? No. Did I love that experience? Yes. And here's why. My independent insurance agent team was already proactively looking at the things that I should be doing. So that list that we shared earlier, I would put at the top of the list, work with an independent insurance agent who's going to review that list for your unique situation and might tell you the hard things. Hey, to be honest, your insurance score is a little bit lower than where it should be, and that's making it harder for for you to manage your premiums. What can you do to improve your insurance score? Those sorts of things.
Yeah, and quickly, independent insurance agent, that means that's an insurance agent that represents more than one company. So if you have an insurance agent that represents one company, guess whose product you're going to get? You're getting that company's product. And as I was growing up, my dad worked for State Farm Insurance for 36 years. And when I got my motorcycle when I was in college, I went to my State Farm guy, and he had an amazingly expensive and bad policy. And thankfully, as I was doing some digging, I learned there's a company called Progressive that has an appetite, and they want to cover your motorcycle insurance. So I did that. But if you didn't know that, you're likely gonna get, whether you're a square peg or not, you're gonna get pounded into a round hole, and that is not necessarily always what's best for you.
One of the things that Alysia shared in her list of, hey, here are some things that you can do, is you can maintain your house, have upkeep. All right, so that leads to home inspections. Okay, when does someone have a home inspection for their insurance? Is that something you schedule, or how does it even occur? And then what should a consumer, what should people be watching for or ensuring that their home is up to snuff with so that they can pass these home inspections?
Okay. So I feel old now. It used to be.
Yeah.
And back in my day.
I still talk like that, Alysia.
In
Thanks.
2002, when I got into insurance, it used to be that you had a home inspection when your home insurance was first written. So when you switched to a new carrier, you would always have a home inspection. And then, might be every couple years, and it was a human being who went out. It was either an employee of the company or it was usually a subcontractor, one of those two things. Now, in this hard market world, this is a change. This isn't typical. We're seeing carriers try to re-inspect their entire book of business, and they're doing it with drones and satellites. So this creates a lot of work for your agent. It creates some confusion at times with that imagery. It may look like the roof is bad, and the client says, no, my roof is great. And they send us photos, and the photos look phenomenal. We have to send them into underwriting and reprove that the roof is still fine. So if you get that letter, don't panic. Right?
What letter? What's it mean?
So you'll get a letter. If they see something, they call them recommendations. I call them requirements. They're not really recommendations, people. They're going to make you do it, whether you want to do it or not. So if they see something prior to your renewal that they do not like, that they want you to fix, if they see something after you've written your insurance for the first time with a new carrier, they're going to send out that letter. And that letter is going to say, hey, we need these things done. That will go to your agent. That letter may not come to you. What you might get is the cancellation. And that's what causes people to panic, is they don't necessarily get the list. They just get the notice that, hey, you don't have insurance anymore on your renewal date or within the next 30 days.
Yeah, and the issue is, because you think, well, if the insurance company wants me to do this thing to my house, I'll just switch insurance companies. That's not really in the range of possibilities.
Because currently. Still, even now, when you do switch insurance companies, they're going to inspect before they offer insurance, or at the time you get the new policy anyway, right?
Yeah, typically. And it's usually just an exterior inspection. They walk around the house, they take measurements, but they're looking for things that might prevent or increase the likelihood of a claim. So poor roof condition. Roof is just the hot item right now. It's really being scrutinized, the roof condition. Again, like I said, silly things like mold or algae on the house, overgrown shrubs, handrails missing on steps, peeling paint on wood windows because it could cause rot if those windows...
They're really looking at all that stuff?
They're really looking at all this stuff,
Am I the only one that's thinking, it's my house? Stop sticking your nose in my business. And I know, so you might be feeling that way. That's my initial reaction. That's my gag reflex.
And we feel that way too.
But at the same time, you need insurance. you need insurance. And I get it that, well, they're financially at stake if the thing has a claim. And so they need to make sure that it's in a good condition so that there's fewer risk of a claim.
And here's where I think the value of an independent agent really does come in, is we go to action, right? Like we get that notification from a carrier. We don't want to lose clients. We want our clients to retain coverage. We want to help you. So we're immediately working with the carrier trying to get more time. And in the past, that was a lot easier. Carriers were a lot more willing to say, yeah, we'll give you till the next renewal to replace that roof. Or we'll give you until the next renewal to do this list of things. Now carriers are really holding the line a lot more, especially on the roof condition topic. So if you have that older roof, one of the best things you can do, if you were planning on replacing it in the next few years, do it now. Get it done.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there again, goes back to all 6 areas of your financial life and having your finances set up that, yeah, you can find a way to budget and save up for that expense and get that done. So staying on top of the condition of your property will help you stay attractive with the insurance company to help you get renewed, or if it's time to switch, then you'll be able to do that. So, all right, we've got more coming up on the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. All righty. 4th segment. Here's what I'm wondering. And I know you probably feel like, well, we did talk about this last time. I know, but three questions that I have laid out. All right. Well, is there anything new that you would list under the what are the trends that you're seeing with consumers and how would you coach them? To me, I'm assuming consumers are more prone to cut coverage and or even, I don't know. So do you have valuable?
From consumers, I just said that they were shopping and basically just be careful. Like what you will get online isn't necessarily what you have now. I think
it'd be good to hit that. And then when you're buying a new vehicle.
And also looking at deductibles, because, man, carriers are rolling on, like you said it, they're rolling on all sorts of stuff. If you're not reading the policy, you've got something different than you had 2 years ago. So we probably need to hit that.
So they're unilaterally making changes?
Yeah, they'll do what they call a roll-on endorsement, where they say your wind hail deductible is now this.
So, okay, can we talk about that? Because what did wind hail deductibles used to be back in the day, and what are they rolling them onto?
I mean, $500 was a common deductible. $1,000 is more common. Now, wind hail deductibles $2,500, or percentage deductibles. If it's a captive carrier, they're going to 1%, 2%.
Yeah. So, and my dad has a place in Florida, and he was just shopping insurance. And if you have a mortgage, you need it. And he was looking, well, if I had a mortgage or not, what do I do? And for basically a $180,000 mortgage, the insurance, any guesses? It's like $9,500.
Is he on?
It's like $9,500 a year.
Oh my!
6,000 to 8,000 is what I was going to guess. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So all of a sudden, I look at that and I'm like, how in the world is that not going to gum up absolutely everything? Because the only way it works is if you have a cash buyer and so you don't need a mortgage. But even if you don't need a mortgage, you still are likely not excited about paying $9,500 per year for insurance on your double wide.
And that's way high, but Florida's got a list of probably 10 insurers that are about to be insolvent. So, right? Like...
All right, 4th segment, land on the plane. Yeah. So we'll get into that, and then if there's an opportunity to talk about, the changes and expectations or what you should be doing if you're buying a new vehicle or moving, we'll hit that. So, but gotta be wrapping up. So here we go. Thanks for being here. This is the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. My name is Mike Bernard. With me in the KFG studios, Kevin Korhorn and insurance expert Alysia Boehner. Stay up to date on all Wise Money content. Find us online at wisemoneyshow.com and then all over social media. Wherever you're at, we are there as well. Talking about the current state of the insurance world, home and auto insurance. This is called a hard market, meaning it's, well, we defined it earlier, but it's more challenging. It's harder. It's harder to find new insurance coverage. Insurance companies have had more claims and are battling inflationary issues, just like all of us. And so they're having to raise their rates, and it's harder for you to find insurance, harder for you to keep insurance, and harder for you to shop around for insurance. And so we're helping you navigate that hard market. I want to thank Auto Owners Insurance for sponsoring the content of today's program, even though it's not very warm and fuzzy. Wish it was, but it's all about trying to help you navigate this challenging time. So, Alysia, what are some trends, right? This is an undesired circumstance that we're all in. I wish we weren't dealing with this. No one wants it. What are some things that consumers are doing, that people are doing, and how would you coach them? Because I imagine not all of the initial reactions are positive or beneficial. So what are some trends that you're seeing, and how would you coach people to now take this approach instead?
Okay, so some of the stats I read said 70%, right? 70% of people are shopping their insurance looking for something different. So the risk is you go and you find something else and you think you're getting the same thing. Those online carriers do not give you the same thing. I can tell you based on what we see. You need to make sure you really do understand your insurance and what you have now, and that what you are getting is the exact same thing. Because what we're seeing is carriers adding mandatory wind and hail deductibles. So you'll have 2 deductibles on your house. You'll have one that they call an all other peril, which is everything except wind and hail. And then you'll have a separate deductible for wind and hail. And that wind and hail deductible, your all other peril might be $500 or $1,000. But then that wind and hail deductible will be $2,500 or 1% of what your house is insured for, or 2% of what your house is insured for. So you can imagine that surprise when you don't realize that's what your deductible is.
And you said at a break that these could be applied roll-on, which is insurance geek speak for what?
So a roll-on endorsement just means the carrier's taking measures to try to improve their profitability. They're going to make this change mandatory, and all they have to do is inform you in writing that they're making the change. So they do that at your policy renewal in that hodgepodge of paperwork you get that you put in a drawer and you never open.
Yep.
How'd you know?
I would imagine another trend is dropping insurance. You know, if you drive, you need insurance, but to buy the vehicle, you have to prove it. But then as you're driving around, you just hope that you don't get stopped. If you have a mortgage, you need insurance. But I'm assuming with costs going up the way that they have, and with it being harder to find insurance, I'm assuming another trend. You probably don't have any stats on this, but more people are going without.
Yeah, uninsured motorist driving had been up in the last few years. I think that number has actually dipped just a marginal bit in our area anyway. But yes, that is something that we see. In particular, I see it with small businesses right now, because small businesses are really feeling the economic pinch overall. And so a lot of those individuals I've had calling saying, hey, I can't afford my insurance any longer and I'm going to cancel coverage.
Got it. Okay, so I want to talk then about buying a new vehicle or buying a new house. Process might be a little bit different. I want to tune in to see what your perspective is. Focus on first buying a new vehicle. Okay. So if you are buying new or buying used, doesn't matter, but new to you, you need to get insurance before you take the car off the lot. What's that process like? Does it now take longer? When do you reach out to your agent? What should you be prepared to provide to your insurance agent? Kind of coach everyone on that.
So if you're adding a vehicle to an existing policy, that process is still pretty simple. Okay. That's not very hard. You give us the year, make, model, the vehicle identification number, and we can usually add that to your insurance. Where we're seeing issues is when people cross state lines. And now we're maybe changing carriers because they've moved from one state to another. That motor vehicle report, their proof of prior insurance coverage doesn't pull from one state to another. So now they have to prove that they've had prior insurance. Well, if any of you have been insured with a certain carrier that maybe has a 6-month policy and a policy for every car, and you have 5 cars, you can imagine pulling together 10 declarations pages worth of insurance proof. Low mileage discounts, things like that. Carriers used to just say, fill out a card at the end of the year. Now we want to see your oil change receipts. Hand us those. Give us a snapshot of your odometer now, and then give us a snapshot of your odometer in a year. So they're just making you jump through all these extra hoops to kind of verify the discounts that they are giving you. And sometimes they're making you prove the registration and titling by sending in photographs of that on the car insurance.
Oh, my.
So it's a lot of extra stuff that you're having to do if you're obtaining it for the first time, or you maybe have a driver spinning off onto their own policy for the first time.
So what you would say is, if you know that you're in the market to purchase a vehicle, before you go and you're ready to make that purchase, reach out to your insurance agent, let them know, hey, we're in the market, we're probably buying a new vehicle, we're going to be trading this one in or selling this one, or, Susie's, turning 15, and so we're going to buy a new vehicle, blah, 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 and at least start the process?
Yeah, and especially if it's something that you might need a whole new policy, like you're moving states, or you have a young driver that's maybe old enough to get their own insurance and you want them to have their own policy for the first time. Or another one we run into is people think, I'm buying a boat or an ATV or a watercraft for the first time, and they think they can just add it to their auto or home, and you can't always. So those things can take a little longer. Call us ahead of time. Give us a week or so notice if you're going to be doing those types of things, to give us a little bit of time to actually help you, instead of on Friday at 4:45 when you're at the dealership, preferably.
That's funny. That's funny.
And, we live... Most of us live in Indiana. I live in Michigan. I sleep in Michigan, live in Indiana.
Yeah.
But the issue is in Michigan, and the stats we only have them as of 2022, but 20% of the drivers are uninsured, but 60% of the drivers in Detroit are uninsured.
Oh, my.
And so the odds, if something happens and you have an issue, an event, you're going to have a meaningful problem dealing with uninsured folks.
Yeah. Let's flip over to buying a house. Now, the housing market is still very challenged, because I don't know how many people are interested in trading in their 3% mortgage for a 7% mortgage. So we still have inventory issue or supply-demand imbalances, keeping prices high and all of that. But for those that are ready to to make a move, that we've been holding on for long enough and we need to make a move. What's that process like, getting new insurance for a new house?
Yeah, so normally when you make an offer on a house, you usually have around 30 days before you're closing. Call your agent right away once that offer is accepted and you know you're purchasing the home. The thing that most people have the hardest time with that we have to have, we call them building updates. So we need to know the year that your electrical was most recently updated, your plumbing was most recently updated, that roof was replaced, and your heating and ventilation, air conditioning type systems. And depending on the situation, sometimes people don't have a lot of history, or there's not public records to tell you if it's not a newer home. And so then we need some sort of proof or inspection to kind of date those things for us, because the carriers care very much about that. If you have a home that has older siding that might have asbestos, that is a hot topic issue right now. They will make you send in a little piece of that siding and prove that it does not have asbestos in it. So that's an issue we're running into on homes as well if it's an older home.
So communicating with your agent early and being aware there might be some additional steps. And we were talking earlier about the home inspections, and we've got this imbalance between supply and demand with houses. So if you're shopping, you might feel a little anxious. I need to get this house. There's bidding wars happening, blah, blah, blah. I need to get this house. But you may not realize that the condition is such that it's going to make it hard for you to get insurance. So working with your insurance agent early on. So Alysia, I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. This is it's a challenging time, and but where you can look and sort of lick your wounds, I would actually say now this is a time where people need wisdom and guidance from independent insurance agents like you and the folks on our team. And so, guys, it's a bigger financial issue. It's not just a rounding error or some side thought. You've got to incorporate your home and auto decisions with your entire financial life. That's all the time we have for today. On behalf of Kevin Korhorn, Alysia Boehner, all of us at KFG, have a great weekend. We'll see you next Saturday for the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group.
Securities offered through Silver Oak Securities, member FINRA/SIPC. Advisory services offered through KFG Wealth Management, LLC. Doing business as Korhorn Financial Group. KFG Wealth Management, LLC and Silver Oak Securities Incorporated companies are unaffiliated.